So, we left off here yesterday. You will have grabbed this energy tank in this little hole right here. And after that, what you want to do is come left slightly, spring ball up into the door on the ledge, unmorph, and then do a short run forward and jump through the door. The reason we do that is so that we can do this space jump up through the room. It's important that you have dash speed here, or Samus will lose momentum. So make sure that you did run through the previous door. And if possible, you kind of want to aim for like the bottom of the door. But more important than the bottom of the door is making sure that the door transition is good. So like, if you start falling before you enter the door, it's going to screw up the transition. So basically, you do want to hold jump the entire way through the door. Just if possible, you want to try and land a little bit lower, so that you land here a little bit earlier. Okay? If you miss the jump, it's not a big deal. You'll just land on this platform, and then from there, you just want to run forward, do one wall jump off the wall, shoot, and either down grab or shoot and land. And then just run through. Cool? Not too bad. So coming out of here, you're going to land on this platform. You actually want to quickly hop onto the left side of this platform, and then get as much run speed as you can. Do space jumps across the room. The reason we don't just space jump from here is because basically we can't stand off the left side of this because of the platform next to it, where we can stand off the left side of this, so we can get more run speed off of the second platform right here. And it does make a pretty big difference, assuming you don't screw it up like that. So yeah, it's like 15 to 20 frames optimally, I think, that you'll save by doing the run speed off the second platform. From there, you want to select missiles, just because missiles are less laggy than plasma beam in a lot of situations. We're going to use the missile to open this door, and then deboost off of the guy on the right over there. Okay. Do a short hop into the acid here. Make sure that you have something that shoots plasma beam equipped. Run forward and shoot as you are passing under this platform. So right here. And then immediately jump. And you will jump through the door, which is what you want. You actually want to space jump so that you sort of hit the ceiling, like this. It's okay if you don't bonk the ceiling, just... That's the idea here. This is something that a lot of people aren't aware of. So, you guys have seen me laying like power bombs and stuff to make doors scroll faster, right? To clear the sound queue. When these pirates do ninja flips, they add that flip sound to the queue. So basically, hear how both pirates are flipping? You hear that? as opposed to just one. So if you do a low space jump here, you're going to make this pirate kick, which actually prevents him from flipping. So only the right pirate flips. So that's a 48 frame door transition. The extra 6 frames are from that right pirate flipping. That was a 59 because both pirates were flipping. It can be worse than that too. So you want to do a low space jump to make this pirate kick. It's a free time save on this door. Just makes the door process 11 plus frames faster. You can also, I discovered this the other day. You can do this sort of a thing. It's kind of hard, but it will save the extra frames. So it saves another 6 frames on the door. The thing is, since we're not staying in spin, it can make the actual room slower. I don't think it was in that case. Yeah, that's good. When I first found this, the way that I was doing it was making the room slower. So that's another 6 frames saved. I might practice that more and start going for it in runs. But obviously, that's much harder than this. You do want to ball into this door. So if you really don't want to do the space jumps, probably do something like that. But basically, we want to hit those spikes. I guess you can just run into the door. I'm trying to think of different ways that you could do the room. But basically, we want to hit those spikes the way that we are doing this, because it allows us to just hold jump and spring ball all the way up like this. If you're not balled, the timing's going to be different. So that happens, which was also happening when I tried to do this. But of course, you can kind of like manually time it. It's definitely harder than just normalizing it by hitting the spikes and holding jump like this. So after you bounce off this platform here, when you kind of bounce up through it, you want to hit the ceiling here and then bounce off the floor and up like this. And then you want to lay a power bomb on the top of that gap. What that will do is it will create this 2-tile high space with the statue. And you can jump up and clip through it, which we'll talk about in just a minute. So just like that. Hold jump to the left, bounce to the right, back to the left. It looks hard. It's actually not as hard as it looks, though. Once this block is broken, do a ledge grab up onto it like this. Personally, I don't like holding dash here because it makes this way harder, so I do this without holding dash. You want to do a spin jump up into this gap, and then before you land, you want to press angle and release jump. That will make it so that Samus's feet are kind of stuck in the floor there. You see that? So, if you don't do it that way, her feet are not kind of stuck in the floor and you can't jump through. If you do this, her feet are stuck in the floor and there's a little gap above her head. And if you do a crouch jump from here, you'll jump up through the statue. Okay. Alright, if you're familiar with the Prkd Strat, we actually want to do the same thing here. Basically, you want to jump through and deboost off of that Deskiga. You want to land in between these two pillars in the background, right around here. They kind of move differently as you scroll the screen, so I'll do that again, show it. But you want to land, and then you want to do a short charge. You don't want to stutter. I do a 2-tap. That's pretty, it's pretty aggressive. And especially in 100%, you don't necessarily need to do a 2-tap because you can shoot to clip through the Deskigas. But if you don't have enough speed and you try to do a 3-tap, then that third Deskiga on the right is going to hit you when you run out of iframes. A lot of the time, not always. So like that time was okay. But yeah, personally I prefer the 2-tap. Once Samus's feet are in the floor, you can turn without holding any buttons before the clip. Yeah, you don't have to turn. The reason you want to turn left is so that you can deboost to the right. You don't have to turn. The other nice thing about 100% is that if this Deskiga is not coming over to let you deboost off of him, which happens sometimes, you do have screw attack. So you can just jump up, kill the Deskiga like that, shoot through it. And doing the room this way is really, it's still really fast. It's only like 30 frames, maybe a second slower than doing the optimal deboost. So I'll show kind of what that looks like. Save state here. So just like this. Yeah, so that was a 50 frame difference between those two strats. And it's going to vary, obviously, but it's good stuff. You can also just main the screw tack strat if, you know, you don't like the deboost for whatever reason. It's not like you need to worry about health here because you just got one from Ridley. Okay. The other thing, so we're doing a speedball through that tunnel. The reason we're doing that is because there's two sets of bomb blocks that we can speed through. So this is one of them, and then this is the other one. There's a really cool strat you can do. Oh wow, I got it. So you spring ball out of the tunnel up to the door, and then you can just immediately jump through. It saves a good chunk of time. It's not like astronomical or anything, but I want to say it's like 20 frames. The way that I like to set up for it, actually, I've found that if I start holding jump, so you can hold jump through the tunnel, see that? And you'll keep your speed echoes. So I'm holding jump here and Samus is sort of bouncing. You don't want to hold jump for the whole tunnel because it actually reduces her speed. She's not mockballing anymore at that point, right? She's bouncing. But you can hold jump preemptively a little bit using, you know, different cues here. If that's easier for you than trying to time the jump out of the right side, because the end of the tunnel comes really fast and it's hard to anticipate. So what I started doing was holding jump as this flower leaves the left side of the screen. I might change that and start just trying to time it on the way out. But, you know, I don't know. I will say, you know, like I said, the earlier you press jump and start bouncing through the tunnel, the more frames you're losing if you don't get the spring ball up. So that was a 15 frame difference, bouncing more toward the end versus toward the beginning. And that saved about 20 frames. Like I said. I just wish, you know, I wish I had a good cue for when she's leaving the tunnel. The thing is, when it happens, the screen scrolls like that. You know, it like forces over. So it's hard to say. It's probably like this flower when that flower is leaving the left. It's a little before that, actually. Anyway, I don't want to waste your guys' time on this too much, but definitely worth looking at. Alright, in this room you want to screw attack to break this statue, and then just immediately morph and select power bombs. You can lay a power bomb once the middle of the door leaves the right side of the screen. It was just a little too early. See that? It'll break all the blocks. Then from there, you want to spring ball up through this gap. You can either spring ball up here. You can do a crouch jump up onto it, or you can do a short run spin jump up onto it. I do the spin jump, and I actually don't grab the platform. I jump over it, and then I do a space jump. Grab this one. I think this is fastest, but I'm not sure. From here, you know, honestly, this room is probably... It's definitely in my top 5 hardest rooms to optimize in 100%. It's not that it's overly difficult, it's just that going fast in this back and forth, it's really hard, just the way that the platforms are laid out. It reminds me a lot of the wrecked ship Shaft, which is also in top 5 hardest rooms to optimize in 100%. One thing about this jump right here, so optimally we want to get a speedy jump up through this gap, But if you get a ledge grab onto here and you try and do it, you're not going to get as fast of a jump. And so optimally, actually what you want to do instead of getting a ledge grab here like this, you sort of just want to float down onto the platform. Oops. A little bit more to the right. And then dash and jump up through the gap. You'll get a speedy jump that way, and it does make a big difference. Okay. Don't screw attack the pirates. You just want to shoot plasma through them. So shoot this one, ledge grab here, shoot up, and then you can either do just a short dash jump, or you can do just a regular spin jump without holding dash, but it's way harder to get this down grab. It's like way harder. So a lot of the time what people will do instead is do a wall jump like that. If they don't do the dash jump, they'll shoot up and then they'll do a little wall jump there to get out. Run through the door. Okay. I select supers before coming in this door so that I can immediately shoot this guy. Alternatively, you can just hold a regular shot, and that will freeze him. And then you can select supers and shoot him like that. If you shoot him with a super immediately, you'll actually collect this drop on the way through, which is like why I like to start off with the super. But if you forget to select it or whatever, no big deal. Something else that you might want to try, this is something that I know QD does in Wrecked Ship. Rather than worrying about getting dash jumps on a lot of these, what you can do instead is just turn and jump like this. You can even just release dash when you do it. Personally, I like to hold dash the whole way. But ultimately, just do whatever is most comfortable and most consistently fast for you. I do highly recommend that speedy jump though. It's nice because it makes missing this ledge grab like you're doing it on purpose, so it's less stressful. You know what I mean? I know that I stress out a lot when I feel like I'm not getting good ledge grabs, and so when there's an opportunity to optimize without doing a ledge grab, I like that a lot. Alright, so shoot this guy and do a gap skip across these spikes. And then run and jump down. I don't have a good cue for where to jump here. I'll just be honest about that. But something that you can do to try and help is aim down. Okay. When you land here, you want to run forward and jump right around here. Aim down and shoot through the hand, like that. That shot will come down and freeze this guy. And then you want to run forward, jump and aim down. You'll collect this energy tank. And if you did it correctly, so like that wasn't... It's workable still if you do it that way, but ideally you want something like this, where the bug is right next to Samus already. And then you can just buffer the deboost out of the fanfare. If it's more like this, you'll have to time it. The idea here is that you want to deboost onto that frozen bug, and then jump up. This is another spot where you don't need to get a completely clean ledge grab, because if you start a little bit further in, it makes it more likely that you're going to get the speedy jump all the way up to the top of this. If you start from the edge of the finger, by the time you get up, you're losing a lot of speed. And so it's actually better in that case to do a wall jump. See the difference there? All right, just do that for the rest of the room. Another top 5 hardest room to optimize in terms of platforming in 100%. For sure. So you want to get as much run speed here as you can and do a wall jump kind of off the top of the door, like this. You want to land on the edge here. And then basically what you're going to do is that zigzag that you saw me do just a minute ago. Really, there isn't good advice for this other than just practice, 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 practice. You have to go back and forth and do ledge grabs on each of these. The nice thing is that since we have screw attack, we can use those iframes to get through the boulders and stuff without the flames and the boulders, without worrying about holding a charge shot. In Prkd, for example, and probably in KPDR, what people do is they hold a charge to make sure that they pseudo screw through the flames, and the charge actually breaks boulders if you hit them. So like it'll break that last boulder. But since we have screw attack, we can just iframe through everything. Like that. Okay. Once you get to the top, this is what I lovingly call the worst slope in the game. This door is impossible to hit consistently without bonking. Like, it just is. I found a pretty good way to do it, but it's really dumb. So I ledge grab here, I run forward and I pump twice, and I release dash somewhere around the end of this hidden wall. And then I shoot as Samus is on this slope right here. After I enter the door, then I repress dash, and see, she still fell. Worst slope in the game, dude. Sorry. So I try to repress dash just before entering the door. And generally, you won't fall off the slope that way. It's possible you might not fall off if you press it in the door, but it's also possible that you will fall off. It just sort of depends. So, again, I run forward, I pump twice, I release dash right around here, I shoot right around here, and then I repress dash probably around here. It's actually a little earlier than that. Maybe not, I don't know. Don't listen to me. Don't watch my tutorials anymore, I don't know what I'm talking about. Assuming you run down the slope, you want to jump near the edge, and then do a space jump as you're passing under this stalactite, and ledge grab right here. And we're going to talk about the Hodorubi special, but a lot of people decide not to go for the Hodorubi special. And if that's the case, and you don't want to go for the Hodorubi special, you want to do an angle down shot or a missile shot to kill and or freeze this guy so that you don't bonk him on your way over. Because if you do nothing, you're going to bonk him. Boop. What? Why didn't we bonk him? Yeah, see. And then what you want to do... I'm jumping way too early here. You want to do a late screw attack, a late jump, and it will break that top block. And as long as you're still holding right, it'll grab the missile as well because of the wall jump check. And from there, you can either morph and spring up, or you can do a wall jump morph like this to get up into the hole. This is what Behemoth does instead of the Hodorubi special, or at least that's what he was doing. And this is really fast. It's definitely comparable to the Hodorubi special, and it's much easier. But it is not quite as fast. I got stuck on the seahorse guy there, so that's probably why I see people missile him instead of the freeze shot. You'll want to bomb this block if you're not speedballing through it, and then you can try to jump across the gap. It's okay if you miss, just bounce back up. Okay, I'm going to talk about Hodorubi special, and then I'm going to show that maze with X-ray. Give myself X-ray and show it. So the way that I do Hodorubi special is a little different. Different people have different setups for it. I try to land underneath this stalactite, and then I do a 3-tap. So I go 1, 2, 3, and then just as Samus is getting blue, that's when I jump and go into morph so that I can do the mock spring. 1, 2, 3. And doing it that way gives you enough speed that if you just hold jump up through these blocks, you're not going to fall down here. You'll just bounce across. There really isn't that much more to it. As far as where you want to bounce up, it's going to change depending on how much speed you have, but generally it's going to be right around here between these two pillars. That's sort of where you want to plan on doing your spring to collect that missile on your way up. Okay. All right. So let's let's look at this. Can we see the whole thing? I think we can see the whole thing from here. We can't unmorph here, but yeah, we can see it. Okay, so let's give ourselves X-ray. Okay, so you come through there on the top left, right? And you're in morph, and you fall down. There's normally a block where that empty space is. It's a crumble block that doesn't reappear. So I'll talk in depth about the inputs that you want to do, kind of one section at a time. But basically, we want to bounce up off of that block, up over on the right here, into that hole. Then we want to release jump, so we're not constantly bouncing as spring ball. We want to fall, land on this crumble block while holding right. Samus will roll into the space that we're standing in now. Okay. And then you want to spring up into this gap, release jump again so that she rolls quickly through the gap. She'll fall down, you spring up again into that hole right there, and then there's 2 crumble blocks here with a shot block down to the bottom. You can do a quick drop through these. It's pretty hard. Basically, you'll roll out of that gap there on the right. You'll come out, you'll unmorph, you'll aim down, you'll quick drop to the left and then to the right, or if you're facing left, then to the right and then to the left. Ideally, you want to be facing right when you finish so that you can easily shoot out that block. And optimally, you actually want to do an angle down shot right around here so that you shoot the block and open the door. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to bounce up through here. This isn't optimal, but it's pretty close. What you can do is you want to fall down, and you don't want to be holding jump as you fall. You want to press jump after you bounce. So what will happen is Samus will bounce off of this crumble, and then she'll land right here, and that's when you want to jump back up. If you hold jump the whole time, what's going to happen is there's a block right here. Holding jump the whole time is going to make Samus bounce up onto that block and then land down here and then bounce up. So ideally what we want to do is we want to not bounce twice, we just want to bounce once. Or we want to spring once, I should say. And the best way to do that is, again, you roll through here, you hold right, she'll bounce off of this crumble block, and then you spring up and over to the right. Okay. Optimally, Hodarubi found this a couple weeks ago. What you can do instead is you can unmorph as you're falling. So basically you roll through here to the right, and then what you'll do, I'll show it on the left here, just so that it's a little bit, so you can see, basically. So you'll roll, you'll unmorph, and then you'll remorph and hold right and jump. And what that does is basically it kills Samus's fall speed, so that you can hold spring ball, and what will happen is she'll spring ball off of the crumble block straight up into the hole instead of hitting the block right here like we were talking about. It is kind of awkward to do, and it's especially weird because you can't see Samus when you're doing it, but it is really fast. It saves I think like 15 frames over not doing it or something like that. Like, it's a really good strat. So all right, so again, we are coming up here, unmorphing, remorphing. We're landing in this hole right here, and then we're holding right. We're not holding jump right now. We'll hit the crumble and roll off into this gap. Then you want to spring up and release so that Samus quickly rolls through the hole instead of bouncing all the way through the hole. Hear how she's kind of bouncing there? If you release jump, she'll just roll through. And then you want to do the same thing here. You want to unmorph, aim down and quick drop if you feel like it, angle down shoot as you're falling to shoot out the block that was here and open the door. And then you want to do a short hop into the door so that you can space jump after the door without needing to fall all the way down and then jump back up to shoot the thing and quick drop through the crumble blocks that were there. I'll do this a couple more times. If you do lose speed like this, you can actually lay a bomb there and break the block. That's something worth showing for sure. Do not use a power bomb. They're extremely laggy, as you probably saw earlier. Alright, so I missed the remorph there. So we unmorphed, and then Samus didn't remorph, so we just fell here. If that happens, just morph and keep going. If you do miss the missile, go back for it. It should be faster to go back for it than to come back over here on your way back through the room. Come on, Zeni. So, if you're already this far, maybe not. But generally, you'll kind of notice that you missed after you're right about here, and then you'll just want to go back, grab it, and then go. Okay. So again, you want to space jump as you enter this door, shoot out that top statue, and then quick drop through these blocks. Something about quick dropping these blocks that I realized a little while ago. You just want to tap left and then right. You don't want to hold left and right, because what happens if you look here when Samus is aiming down and you turn, if you just tap to turn, she goes back to aiming down. But if you hold turn, she goes to facing forward instead. And when you're facing forward, it's much harder to quick drop through something. So you just want to tap left and right, and that will make it much easier to get through the blocks than if you hold it. Plus it keeps you in position. Grab the power bombs and do the same thing here and run out. Alright, gap skip here and then do the same sort of thing that I talked about before. And then the same sort of thing here, except we're going to ledge grab here, open the door, we're going to run through, and we want to jump so that we're hitting the ceiling as we jump through. As long as you positioned somewhat correctly, that should give you the right amount of speed to be able to space jump through these. And optimally what you want to do is do a mock ball through that tunnel. It is really hard, so don't sweat it if you can't do it. I may actually have a little bit too much speed here. But something that you can do to sort of offset your speed is aim down immediately after this space jump. That will slow Samus's forward speed a little bit. Yeah, I think we have just a little too much. Oh, we did it. So yeah, optimally you want to mock there. It's okay if you don't get it. Don't like unmorph and then mock. Just if you miss it, you know, just roll through. It's okay. Spring ball up here. You want to unmorph a little bit high and shoot to the left. What that will do is break the top statue right here preemptively. So again, shooting right here will break the top statue. From there, you want to screw attack through this block. There are situations where this will feel impossible. It happens to everybody. If you watch Zost's, not his 114s, but his 115.20 that was world record when he got it, and it was his PB for like 3 years. When he gets to this part, he can't get Samus to go in, and it's one of those moments that, like, even for a casual watcher, they're like, oh, you know, he's not a robot, he's not perfect. So the block that you want to break is just to the left of this pillar. So that's something to keep in mind. It can be helpful. After you break the block, you want to roll. And then what you want to do is you want to spring ball on top of this block, and then you'll fall onto this block. And as you fall onto this block and it starts to crumble, then you want to hold left and grab the missile. That is faster than spring balling up over them and grabbing the missile, and it's also faster than, like, quick dropping or something weird. And then after you grab the missile, you actually want to land on the podium and then roll off to the right. Spring ball back up through the gap. Hopefully that key hunter will be in a spot where you can kill it with screw attack. Then you want to run, ledge grab here, plasma shot through this guy, and then hopefully this guy is in a spot where you can kill him with screw attack or floating over here. You can angle shot those blocks if you want to, or you can run under and do an upshot to get through them. And then you want to shoot and down grab on this ledge and run through the door. Like that. Do the room one more time. If you have trouble getting out of there, don't panic. Just try to carefully position yourself to get through. All right. Jump and aim down here. That will help you get on this second ledge. And then do a short hop ledge grab onto this one and quick drop through these blocks. Do not morph, that's bad. You want to align with the right wall here so that you can get as much run speed as possible. Run to the left and jump, and just space jump through those blocks. Do a mock through the tunnel. Select missiles. And shoot twice like you saw me do, so that you can kill the orb and open the door. Leave missiles selected and run through the door. It's a pretty basic room, but it's hard to execute correctly. It's just one of those things that you'll need to practice. Definitely easier than Prkd though, since we have space jump and screw attack. Come on. Whatever. Okay. Run and jump right here. Again, you still want missiles selected so that you can immediately kill this Kek attack. And then run to the left, do one space jump, select supers, open the door, which you do by space jumping and then shooting. Do not shoot first, or you'll fall. Turn to the right and deboost off of this waiver. The cue that I like to use to know where I'm planning to deboost, if you look at the background, there's a bunch of bubbles, right? But they're sort of in patterns. There's a 4 quad right there. Right there. Basically, I eyeball that 4 quad, and I position myself... 4 quad. Why am I calling it a 4 quad? That's so redundant. It's a group of 4 bubbles right here. Okay, and I position myself above it. I turn right, and then I deboost off the waiver. You want to make sure that you're not directly on it, because that's really low. And come on, even if you get the deboost from that low, you're gonna fall. Okay, so you do want to be above it, and you want to hold the boost the whole time so that Samus immediately turns around. If you stop the boost early, what's going to happen is Samus is going to turn as she lands, and that wastes frames before you can run through the door. So you just want to hold the boost the whole time. And it actually eliminates that turnaround animation. Select power bombs or nothing. Run and jump across this gap. Grab the missile, and then out of this fanfare, you want to be holding jump and angle up, and then shoot just after the fanfare to break that block. From there, you just morph and roll into the hole. Okay. You also, you don't have to, you can just run off and run through the door. But if you want to try and optimize, you can jump just as this set of bubbles, this pillar of bubbles, is leaving the right side of the screen. You can do a little short hop. You do need to angle down, shoot the door for this to be optimal. And then you want to select missiles before going into the next room. So kind of like that. We jumped too early there. Okay. So we have missile selected. You want to missile this Nova and then do a short hop. It's okay if you don't kill this first seahorse, but that's kind of the idea, is that we want to kill the first one with screw attack and then those 2 guys with screw attack as well. That will reduce the lag and just generally make getting back through the room easier. And to accomplish that, just do some short space jumps. I reach over and press select with my left thumb here to deselect. You can also just toggle through your items. I just find that harder, since your thumb is already focusing on space jumping, right? So, and then I shoot the reserve, and you want to do a downturn into the reserve. You want to be close to the ground, though, as opposed, like, you don't want to land on top of it like that. You want to be more like that, where you're about to land. Coming out of the reserve fanfare, you want to angle down, shoot, and then you can run off here, but if you hold your speed the whole time, you're actually going to clear the missile, and you don't want that. So, you'll either want to release forward, so that you do collect the missile, or you'll want to not use dash the entire time off the ledge. Okay. After you grab the missile, we're going to run to the right through the lava. We're going to kill the remaining enemies with a couple of plasma shots, and we're just going to pump as much as we can. That seems really slow, but it's actually the fastest way to get through the room, and it's the easiest, which is nice. Let's grab up here and run through the door. Alright, so there's that block that you need to shoot out, right? But if you shoot while you're running forward, it's not going to hit most of the time. It will, depending on when you shoot, but it might not, okay? So I like to shoot earlier and do a down grab onto the corner. It's kind of like, obviously all of this looks the same, right? So it's kind of hard to see, but basically this corner right here, this block is a corner that you stand on. So that's what I eyeball when I do this. I jump, I shoot, and I do a down grab, and then I do a short hop mock ball. And then Zost actually clued me into this. So before, what I was doing, if you do this shot correctly, it will actually open the door for you, like that. It's kind of hard to do, but you'll sort of get a feeling for it after a while. But a lot of the time when you mock ball here, you don't get that bounce. Sometimes you do, but a lot of the time you don't. You just roll into the lava there. You can actually normalize that bounce if you spring ball through this gap right here. So basically, you do the mock and then you spring. And then you'll always land on the bubble and you can bounce across the gap. If you're lucky enough that the door is open, you can actually spring through the door and lay a bomb right there that will kill that waver, which reduces lag for the strat in this room, and also gets you down. Since you're already falling by the time you come through the door, it gets you down where you're going a little bit faster. Well, actually, that might not be true, but at the very least, immediately bouncing through this room maintains your momentum, where otherwise you're going to have to stop, unmorph, and then go through. So the bounce in this room saves about 10 frames, I think. 234 versus what I was doing before was like this, 257. You can also bounce and unmorph and go 252. Okay, so it's like 10-15 frames. If you don't get the spring ball into the ceiling, like I said, you want to run through And then you want to jump and kill the waver with screw attack, but you don't want to jump too low, because it actually makes the next part of this strat harder. Either way, you want to turn left and morph on this column in the background. It's kind of easy to identify because it has a lot of black space in between two other vertical sets of bubbles. And it comes all the way down and lands on this bubble right here. You want to lay a power bomb on that bubble, which will break these blocks and also kill some enemies down there. And then you want to unmorph. So you want to be holding jump here. Okay. Jump. Do not hold jump the whole time. Jump and release jump. And then do not repress it right here either, or Samus is gonna space jump up. So jump, release jump, morph, then hold jump after morphing, which will make Samus automatically spring up. Make sure you have power bomb selected. Okay. Time your power bomb as you land on the bubble, and then after the automatic spring, you want to unmorph, move slightly left, deboost off of the waver all the way over to the right, aim down, shoot, do a quick drop through this block right here that's breaking as you shoot it. You'll morph here, roll left, roll right, unmorph. You'll kill this Ripper with a super missile. The unmorph will kill your speed, so you'll land like that. Or, optimally, you'll want to do a deboost across and grab the missile. I know that was a lot of information really fast. Unfortunately, the strat is just back to back to back to back to back. So again, deboost, aim down, shoot, quick drop, morph, roll left, roll right, unmorph, shoot the Ripper, deboost to the missiles. Jump, morph, hold jump, auto spring. Don't forget to lay the power bomb. Move left slightly, deboost to the right. Shoot down while you're aiming down, turn right as you land. Morph, roll left, roll right, unmorph, kill the Ripper. He'll be over here. Deboost to the missiles. Okay. I'm gonna show how that looks with the spring ball. So you lay a bomb. It does kill that Ripper. You can't... What the... Okay. So lay a bomb a little late. Okay. It'll kill the Ripper. Again, align yourself with this column in the background. Hold jump. And the rest of the strat is the same. Killing the Ripper ends up with 37 frames of lag. If you don't kill it, you end up with 79. So make sure that you kill the Ripper with this bomb. Waver! Not Ripper, Waver. Sorry. Man, I'm just tripping all over myself today with the things that I'm saying, huh? I don't know why you guys watch me sometimes. Okay. Assuming that you got all of that correctly, when you jump back up here, this Waver is going to be still in this position because he doesn't actually move off screen for some reason. The nice thing about that is that we can actually get over here and deboost to the left, which is really fast. But if you miss the quick drop, he's going to be over here on the left, so you won't be able to deboost in the same way. Same thing happens if you, for example, don't deboost quite far enough, and you land here or here. But again, assuming you got it correctly, he'll be there. After you collect the missile, you want to run forward and gap skip these first set of spikes, and then jump up and do a wall jump here, do a wall jump on the left, ledge grab onto this block, and then what I like to do is jump up and ledge grab this bubble, and then jump up onto these bubbles and deboost. There's also a speedy jump that lets you jump all the way up onto the bubbles like that. Just involves running a little bit further to the right. And I'm not as good at it, which is why I like the ledge grab instead. Assuming that you're in the right position, you'll deboost across this gap. And then you can do a very short hop over those bubbles. Like you can jump, I promise, you can jump lower than you think and you'll clear the bubbles. You'll fall straight down into this gap. You actually want to wall jump here so that you can jump around this platform and then run through the door. Assuming that you don't have the opportunity to deboost because the Waver is out of position, ledge grab here, jump here, space jump across, and down. It's not quite it, but hopefully you get the idea. Gosh dang it. Like that. Okay. All right. I like to jump right around here in between these pillars. Aim down. Shoot down. Make sure that you're to the left of this pillar in the background. Like that. Shoot forward as you're falling to open the gate. Shoot forward again as you're running to the left. Gap skip. This gap skip is actually important. You don't want to jump here because it will mess with the door, where a gap skip will actually fix the door. Not completely, but... And then run through. Pretty basic. Just wait for the gate so you don't bonk into it. You can select supers before running in here. If you want to go for what is swaggy and also fast, basically you want to run left off of this platform, turn right, angle up, and then shoot just as you're about to connect with this stone gamer guy. and then turn left while still angling, and you will KO through him. From there, you can deselect supers, shoot down between... I like to shoot down between these last two platforms. Make sure that you're still aiming down. And then do a downturn on the door, like a quick drop. We shot the door too early there, so we didn't have the opportunity. And the gamer will follow you into the door, and you can buffer a deboost. Like that. From there, just space jump across. You want to land on the very edge of this, shoot, and run forward. And if you miss the deboost, it's no big deal. Just jump and land here, and then run and jump and do space jumps. Reason being that we want to get... we want to get as much forward speed as we can for the space jumps. And we'll get more on this platform than we will on the other one. Make sure that you have supers selected when you come into this room. And then this isn't necessarily optimal, but it's not suboptimal either. It just kind of depends on how quickly you do these actions. You want to hold angle down, immediately shoot your super, and run off. You can also run through, aim down, and quick drop through the door, but that ends up slower most of the time. We got a 46 doing this just now. I'm not gonna say that we'll always get a 46, but you know, it's possible. Where the downturn, the quick drop on the door usually ends up getting about a 50. So. Okay, Crockermeyer. He's definitely the hardest boss ever in this route. Basically, you shoot him with plasma beam and then he dies. Bye, Croc. So, it's kind of a joke. The nice thing about doing this route, though, is we can actually do some cool things to manipulate Croc that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise. So what I like to do, I like to run forward and then turn back and shoot plasma beam off screen like that. You can also shoot it down. But basically the idea is that you don't want to shoot... Yeah, you don't want to shoot Croc with it because it can cause more lag as it's going through him. You don't want to shoot up for the same reason, etc. So, anyway. You can moonwalk to get him in position. I like for him to have basically just his last eye partially on screen. He swipes 3 times. I like to jump on the 3rd. Oh, also he will not initiate until you bring him on screen. So that's why we need to run right first. We can't just do this, because he won't initiate until we bring him on screen. Okay, so 1, 2, jump, and then release your shot as you're falling. And that will hit him more or less optimally. The earlier you hit him with plasma, the earlier he'll start walking backwards. to jump, shoot. And then since we have Spring Ball, and Plasma Beam gives him a lot of iframes, we can actually roll over him like this. Wait, where did Samus go? Croc, as an enemy, is actually just a big wall, and the game doesn't like it when you're behind the wall. And so once he runs out of iframes, the game says, Samus, you're not supposed to be back there. And it teleports her back in front of him, but it doesn't move the camera. So the camera stays where it is, but Samus is actually over on the left side of the screen. Okay? Since we can get behind Croc, we're going to use that to get the energy tank early and give ourselves more chances at a spike suit. This is not going to work. You have to be really fast. It's not like super tight, but you do want as much speed coming over Croc as you can get, which is why I like to have him just barely on screen like this. Collect the energy tank, and then shortly after collection, Samus will disappear. From there, you want to walk left and right until you have just the left side of these blocks still on screen. The reason we still want those blocks on screen is because if they're not on screen, Croc will never actually fall into the acid and die. So if you scroll the screen too far, he's just gonna chill. And at that point, what we have to do is run all the way over to the right to make him fall in, and then we're stuck here. Okay? Being stuck there is normally what happens, but since the game has teleported Samus over to the left, and the camera stays here, we can manipulate it so that Croc falls into the acid, and then continue scrolling the camera over to the left. And now, we're on the left side of that wall. We actually can't get onto the right side of the wall, there's a wall right here, until Croc is dead. And then the game removes it. So since we're on the left side of the wall, we can use that to our advantage to attempt to get a spike suit a few times instead of just like once or twice. I like to position Samus on the right side of the door and then do a 3-tap. And then go for the spike suit. The thing about this spike suit is that you have Spring Ball. And so you actually... you have to time your up press. Let's give ourselves another flash suit. Okay. You have to time your up press as you hit the spikes, because you can't, when you have Spring Ball, you can't unmorph with jump, because it makes Samus bounce, right? And so the nice thing about spike suits without Spring Ball is that you can just tap jump twice to time it, right? But when you have Spring Ball, the first input on after the spikes has to be an up press. What I do personally to try and make this a little bit easier on myself is I will press jump at the same time that I press up as I hit the spikes. And that way, I still have that timing for the second jump press kind of ingrained in my muscle memory, as opposed to having to try and relearn, like, okay, I press up and then I press jump 10 frames later. There's a few ways that you can kind of normalize this. I'm having a really hard time with it right now for some reason. But one thing that some people like to do, and I really recommend this, they'll actually bonk into the spikes and then morph so that they're right next to the spikes. And then they'll press left and up together when they're ready to try and do it. Anyway, it's up to you. This does take a lot of practice to get down, but it's definitely possible to be consistent with it, despite the fact that it looks terribly inconsistent how I'm doing it right now. So now we're going to carry our spike suit. We're going to carry it all the way to X-ray. That means that we do not want to shine spark through here, because then we're going to lose our spike suit. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to hold a charge shot, and then you can run left pretty much whenever you want. The earliest that you'll be able to run left, though, is after Croc's hand falls below the floor. If you try and run earlier than that, you're going to bonk the wall here on the left side of the screen. Okay, so wait for the hand to be disappeared below the floor, and then run left. You can release your charge shot as you're running, and it will open the door. See that? And then you want to jump. There's a set of weeds near the end. You want to jump on those weeds, and then do a space jump through the door, so you can jump all the way across to this door. If you want to collect drops, then you want to wait until Croc's head touches the floor and then run left. It's about 30 frames slower. That was only 15 actually, but it also kind of depends on, you know, how aggressive you are with when you run or wait or whatever. So we bonked the ceiling as we were space jumping in here. And then optimally, what we want to do is select supers, shoot, and then spring ball through this door. That's pretty hard, so there's nothing wrong with just selecting supers and jumping across and then shooting the door. Excuse me. The one thing that you want to watch out for is this wall right here. Whether you're doing this or this, you want to either jump late enough that it's not an issue, or low enough that it's not an issue. Okay? Remember, you have spike suit, so be careful as you're coming back across here. Don't do a stationary jump here. Either do a spin jump or hold L and jump, and then run through the door. Oops. Aim down as you come out of this door and shoot, and it will open this door. Oh, I should turn music back on. and then you actually want to be moving left as much as you can in the door. You kind of want to swing far right and then move left, which will fix the door. Okay? But you don't want to swing too far right, or you're going to land like that, and that's bad. If you just do this... Oh, that was still good. We are farther left in the door, though, if we do that. Which means that we lose time in this room. And if you just hang right, then the door has to fix. So the benefit to swinging right and then turning left is that you end up further right in the door and it fixes the door. Okay? Alright, do a moonfall down this room. The easier thing to do is to align yourself with this black space in the background and fall all the way down. And then run off, turn right, shoot down, morph, and then fall through the door with power bombs equipped. Again, this is the easier thing to do, but it is slower. Lay a power bomb, and then do a one tap. Jump across. You don't want to spring like that, that was really bad. You want to do a mock ball through the door, and then unmorph and grapple beam, like that. So I'll try to show what that looks like. Again, this is an easier strat, but it is what I would recommend unless you're like really looking for time saves, especially because you have a spike suit here and you don't want to take any risks, right? So if you want to do the faster strat, Behemoth has one that I'm really bad at. It's only about 5 to 10 frames faster than what I'm going to show. So what I like to do, this is a strat that was developed originally by Cutie, a real cutie, and then I tweaked it a little bit. You want to moonfall and hug this corner right here. And then I push left near where this piece of the background kind of starts sloping over to the right. That's when I push left. That'll make you land down here, which is just a little further down than where you would land over there on the right. It's ever so slightly faster. And then what I like to do is run off the left and down back and shoot this door open. And then we want to select a super missile and shoot the wall to make the blue guy fall through the door with us, kind of like the stone gamer from a couple rooms back. That way we can buffer a damage boost through that door and run through all these firebugs. The firebugs are the big problem here. Otherwise, we would just want to do this sort of a thing. They're not always going to play nice like that. And also, well, actually, I think they will, but the deboost in that particular instance is faster. The one that Behemoth does, he doesn't actually stop before the door. He does like, oops. He runs off to the right, and then he does like a double down back. He does like a down back there, and then, whoa, that was weird. Does another one here. Then he like turns through the door. It's really hard. So again, I like to run off, down back once, open the door, shoot the super, buffer the damage boost, and then what we want to do is we want to do a mock ball under this gap. We want to spring up near the bottom of the slope. We're going to have more speed than this, obviously. We release our jump right around where these two pillars are connecting. And that'll land us right around here, which is what we're looking for. Unmorph, and then what we're going to do is we're going to run through the acid and jump up. I count 6 sets of arm pumps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 R taps and L taps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't actually do L on the last one. Maybe I do. I don't think I do. But basically what we're doing there is and again, this is going to change a little bit depending on where you unmorph. But we're normalizing Samus's run distance and speed so that we get the right kind of jump up onto the platform and through the door. If we don't pump at all, then a lot of the time, yeah, she's gonna jump too low, like that. Also, don't try to stop your D-boost early here, or you'll blow your spike suit. So make sure you hold it all the way. Do a mock ball. I do 6 sets of pumps on R. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I jump. You want to jump just before the first yellow platform, right here. So you're jumping in between these. Make sure you shoot the door semi-early. And you actually do want power bombs equipped here. And what is happening? And mock through the door, which, again, you're going to bonk the door if you don't shoot it early enough. Come on, Zeni. This is hard, but it's not this hard. I promise. Gosh dang it, dude. Alright. Mock through the door. Thank you, Twin Mommy, for the gift sub. To Apathy Duck. I just finished. I just spent 500 Zeni bucks on that. What are you talking about, dude? Oh, people have actually been chatting. I kept looking over at chat for like an hour, and nobody was saying anything, so I eventually just stopped looking. So you mock ball through this door. You actually wanted power bombs equipped here, like I said. Reason being that you're going to mock ball through the door, unmorph, angle up, shoot, grab the grapple beam, and then you're going to hold dash and right out of this fanfare, switch to grapple beam, and shoot the door open. If you try and do that with a beam, you're going to bonk the door. Okay? Alright. Run to the edge here. Do a big space jump. Kill that Ripper as kind of to gauge where you're at. Then do 2 smaller space jumps. 1, 2. Kill that top Ripper. It will always, pretty much always, leave a super missile right there. And then this is slightly less optimal than just jumping off. But I personally like to run off and hold angle up as we run off and grab the super missile with the grapple beam. Like this. You don't want to jump off, because if you jump off and then you try to angle up to grab it, you're going to lose your spike suit. Turn right, mock ball under the gap. You want to spring ball up here, and then unmorph and shoot the door with an angle up as you're unmorphed. Because you cannot use a spike suit in a falling state. So we can press up and R and all sorts of things and be just fine. And then jump through the door. There's two different ways you can do this room. You can go up the left, which is what a lot of people like to do, and it's definitely more comfortable. It also has a really good door transition, but it's a little bit slower RTA. It's like that. Or you can go up the right side and do a down grab. Like that. Either way, you're going to want to open this door with a super missile, because opening it with missiles is really slow. So you only want to open it with missiles if you're like exceptionally low on supers at this point. If you do go up the right side, make sure that you go for a speedy jump. Just kind of get a feel for how far you need to run and when to jump to do that. In this room, we're going to run down the first pit, over the second hump, and then we're going to jump as we're coming down the second pit. And we're going to mock ball under this and spring ball across all of the spikes to grab the missiles. In this fanfare, this is one of the only instances where you actually want to hold left, because it will swing Samus all the way over to the right and make her face left. That gives us more run speed so that we can run and jump across and easily hit that spike and deboost all the way to the left. I already said this before, but I'll say it again. Do not try to stop your deboost early, or you'll waste your spike suit. Unmorph here. Do a shot before you start running forward. That'll guarantee that it will hit the door for you. And then do a wall jump check through this door. Since we wall jump checked, we actually want to hold left coming out of the door. Otherwise, Samus is going to swing all the way over like that, like this. So hold left and she'll swing back toward the wall. And then from there, you just do wall jumps up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I usually count 6 to be safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do not try and open this door before you land, or you'll blow your spike suit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Open the door. Jump through and hug the right side of the door as you come through. That way you can immediately land right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From there, you just want to run forward, do 2 space jumps. Come on. Open the door and go through. You don't want to wait to get up onto this one and then jump on the platform and go up. You'll probably see a lot of people doing that. It's a little bit slower. And also, ledge grabbing this thing is really annoying. sometimes you might K go through it, and if you're short on it, which can happen a lot of the time, there's a good chance that you're going to end up blowing your spike suit. So just hug the right side. You can hold angle down as you're coming out. Run forward a little bit. And then do 2 space jumps up. Like that. Okay. Jump once, and then space jump. You want to land on the edge here, and then this looks dangerous, but it's probably the safest way to keep your spike suit. You want to run forward. You shoot as you're passing these weeds. You do an angle up shot, and since you have extra run speed, it will hit the door. Okay. And then you jump, do a mock ball, and spring ball up through the door. From here, you can unmorph and shoot the cacks while aiming up, because you're coming out of a spring ball, which is really nice. You can also, and this is technically a little faster if you do it optimally, you can do a downturn into the door, but if you mess it up, you're going to blow your spike suit like that. So it looks like this. Oh, we messed up. Lol. Or you can run to the right and then jump left through the door. Pay attention to this door. You want it to be in the middle of the screen when you go through. If you're not careful, it can be really, really, really bad. So, like, if you just jump in like this, it was clear over to the left, which ended up in a 100-frame door transition. So try to make sure that it's somewhere near the middle. I go for the spring ball strat here. I shoot both cacks like this. I don't always collect both supers, but I almost always collect the left one. The reason you want to freeze both is because if you don't freeze the one on the right and you don't collect it, it can shoot spinies, which mess you up. And if you freeze it, it never has an opportunity to do that. So that's why I really like this strat. This is another top 5 most annoying rooms to optimize platforming in 100%. This ledge grab is super annoying. This gap is super annoying to jump through. It's just terrible. Jump up and shoot the door, and then run through. There's 2 different strats you can do here. If you're going for the safer strat, you're going to want to jump through the door, which will actually fix the door transition, which is really nice. And then as long as you jumped late enough, you're not going to bonk the ceiling like I did. And you can go straight up into a ledge grab right here. Okay. From there, you want to ledge grab again, run and space jump across, shoot the super, and run through the door. There is also a swag strat. It's not just swaggy, it's really fast. and I hope I can do it even though I haven't practiced this in a million years. So basically you want to time your super to shoot it early. And then you can do a mock ball under the gate and through the door. The way that I just did that, I jumped off and I held select to auto deselect supers. And then the cue for where you want to shoot the supers is right around this line in these pillars. It's like right below the line. So I have the auto deselect on. And then you'll want to shoot again. So you want to shoot your super kind of early. And then shoot again, since you'll be off of supers. And then morph and go through. The slightly faster... Yeah, you can auto deselect anything. You hold item cancel, and then you push item select to toggle what you want to auto deselect. And it will make it so that when you use it, it automatically cancels. Okay, so this is slightly faster to do the room this way, but it's also way more dangerous. So I actually wouldn't recommend this strat to anybody that's just like casually learning 100%. You run through the door, you don't jump. And then you do some low space jumps. You do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. And you can jump up that way. You can still do this strat, it's just way harder. And the danger is that you might land in the lava, which 1, kills your run speed, and 2, if you have a spike suit and you press jump at the wrong time. So you're trying to space jump and then you land in the lava, right? And then this happens. You can get out of this if you pause, turn off speed booster, crash, turn speed booster back on. But it's really bad. Also, these blocks break with screw attack, so if you end up needing to use them to jump up, make sure that you brake spin before you land on them. And again, this is roughly three short space jumps. Two short space jumps, followed by a third big one. And then if you want to go for the super, you can auto deselect super, use the same cue, same shot strat. Just be careful. You want Samus to be aiming down when you collect the missiles. If she's doing an angle down when you collect the missiles, just wait to land. Like hold jump, because you should be holding jump already, preparing for the mock. Just hold jump and wait to land. Otherwise, there's a good chance that you're going to end up blowing your spike suit. Because basically, if Samus loses forward momentum in the air from a jump, or like something weird, like that. Basically, if you press angle down and then you release it without switching to an aim down pose, then she'll use the spike suit. I don't know why that is, but it's just how it is. So The danger there is that when you try to switch, you might not press down at the right time, which would ultimately blow your spike suit. Hodorobi jumps through to fix the door. It makes the space jump harder and slower. I don't know how it affects the overall time between, you know, fixing the door versus a bad transition versus how fast the room is, etc. But when I timed it, and for consistency reasons, just running through the door was better for me. If you happen to get this mock ball through the door, what you want to do is spring ball up to this ledge, shoot up, ledge grab here, wall jump here, ledge grab here. Rooms like this are so hard to do, like, one thing at a time. Ledge grab here, ledge grab here, ledge grab here, ledge grab here, go up the elevator. You just want to stay on the left side, basically. Assuming you don't get the mock, the better thing to do is to shoot up and ledge grab on top of this Nova, and then ledge grab here, etc. Be very careful with these ledge grabs, because, like I said, if you angle down and then, you know, release jump or whatever, like, it's bad. You can definitely blow your spike suit. I've blown my spike suit in here a couple times. It feels bad, like that. Make sure that you don't try to jump up, or that will happen. So you need to stop, aim up, shoot, then do a spin jump up. The easier way through this room is actually to go on the right side. Like this. But that is slower. I like to select power bombs before I go up this elevator. Coming off the elevator, you can either grapple the door, which, if you're going to do that, it's probably better to have grapple selected, or you can hold shoot and left and just stutter a little bit. For the second room, you want to hold shoot and press dash slightly after starting the room, and then jump through the door. Don't jump early, or there's a good chance that you're going to end up jumping up into the ceiling, which is really annoying. So jump kind of late through the door. Do a jump across here, buffer a shot, release a shot. I like to hold an angle down here to stop on a dime, and then run forward. Do a big jump, and then you can kind of like jump off of the cack attack, or just after the cack attack. Shoot after your second jump to open the door. Start a mock ball and then spring through the door. Release your spring ball before you hit the screes. Hold jump again to automatically bounce off of this platform, and and then you can unmorph and go through the door. Alternatively, you can just mock through here and hold jump. Like this. You'll end up landing here. And then you can try and do a wall jump check through this door, which is like my least favorite thing in this entire game. Or you can just like jump through like that. This room was recently optimized by Zost and Behemoth. I'll try to do it justice. So you want to freeze this Ripper. You can technically down grab it, but that's like really dangerous. Because again, you might blow your spike suit. From here, you want to jump up. Jump, morph, and lay the power bomb. You can lay it pretty early. And then what you want to do is unmorph from here. And like you already know, when you're unmorphed, you can shoot up or you can shoot angle up freely. In this case, you want to shoot angle up, because it breaks both of the blocks and it freezes this B-Tom. I didn't realize this, but the B-Tom causes a ton of lag. So that was 37 lag frames because I shot up. And if you do an angle shot instead, it was only 15. So that's a free like 22 frame save if you just do an angle shot. Okay, now the other thing that you can do to really reduce lag in this room is instead of jumping up in screw attack, you can spring ball up, and I used to think that this was slower, but it turns out, so it fixes the door, it saves even more lag frames, so that was only 9 lag frames. And additionally, if you are able to lay the power bomb lower, which is really hard for me, but like Zos can get it so that it only breaks the one block, you can still roll through. And when the power bomb breaks these blocks, breaking these blocks causes more lag. So the less blocks that are broken, the less lag there will be total. Just make sure, this is something that Zos pointed out that I'm just stupid about. Assuming that you do decide to do this spring ball strat here, make sure that you land next to the door to spike suit through. Otherwise you're just wasting frames. Like if you do it from over here, you're just wasting frames for no reason. The thing that's dangerous about this is you can't actually see Samus right now, and so if for whatever reason you tried to remorph but you ended up not remorphing and then you try to spring ball up, you're gonna blow your spike suit. So kind of, it's up to you. Maybe you just want to press down like 4 times to make sure that you're morphed. But yeah, definitely super good strat. Zos got a sub 6 in this room with it. So, really good. So yeah, morph, unmorph, angle up shot, remorph, spring ball up, roll through, unmorph, and then jump, hold jump, and press forward to use your spike suit. Finally, we're able to be released of the burden of carrying the spike suit. If you don't have a spike suit because you blew it, the strat doesn't really change other than the fact that you'll want to unmorph on the right and run through, and then space jump. And then actually you want to land just after this yapping maw on the spikes to get more run speed here. Mock through the door, and then I did this wrong, but you want to have power bombs equipped. Lay the power bomb next to the door so that it activates this, but not this one. But hopefully you kept your spike suit. You fly across the room. You open the door with the super. You hold a shot, which will automatically hit that gate, and then you jump, morph into the tunnel. Unmorph, shoot the X-ray, run forward, collect it. You actually want to ledge grab this statue, and then do a spin jump up, followed by morphing. Spring ball up into the gap, roll left, you'll fall down to the bottom left, roll over to the right, and then I used to think that unmorphing and down grabbing and running across here was faster, but when I timed it, I came to the conclusion that just spring balling up and rolling across was just as fast. So I guess do whatever you think is more comfortable. Select grapple beam as you are coming out on the right side. Unmorph, shoot grapple, and run forward. Again, that will open the door earlier so that you don't have to wait for your beam to open it, and you can just run through. Alright, the easier thing to do here is just to space jump all the way across. You want to have power bombs selected. Bounce through the door like that. Those flies are in really annoying spots, so keep that in mind. That sort of a thing can happen, and then you lose a bunch of time. So try to focus on not shooting to open the door until you're past that one, right here. If you want to go for the speed keep in here, I would recommend doing 2 space jumps followed by bouncing, and then kind of like with the spike suit, I actually press jump at the same time that I press up to unmorph. And the way that that works is just like in Wrecked Ship, if you watched the earlier part of the tutorial, you want to unmorph on the frame after Samus takes damage from the spikes after a bounce. So this first spike hit, we're bouncing, and then the second one, we're unmorphing. Like that. Lay a power bomb here. You can either spring ball up, which saves a little lag but is a little bit slower in terms of movement, or you can screw attack up like this. I prefer the spin jump, the screw attack. And then if you want a super, if you want a free super, you'll want to, basically you want to screw attack through that block like I just did, and have grapple beam selected when you run through this door. We're not going to go through Brinstar cleanup or reverse Linky or anything today, but you run through the door, you run off, you shoot the cack with a grapple, and you get a free super. If you're not going for the super, it is actually faster to come this way, start from the right edge, and then jump across like this. Yeah, speed keep saves a lot of time. And this is where I'm going to leave it off for today. So tomorrow, or whenever I do another tutorial segment, we will cover either just Brinstar cleanup, because there's a lot to go over, or if it ends up not taking as long as I'm anticipating, we'll do Brinstar cleanup and Turian, but I'm assuming it will just be Brinstar cleanup and then one final segment for Turian. In fact, I can almost guarantee it because Turian is super complex and 100%. So, anyway, as is the trend this week, I'm sorry, it's too late, I don't have time for runs. But I love you guys, and I really appreciate you coming out. Who can we raid today? Let's look at who is playing. Whether it's Super Metroid or another cool game. Whoa, dude. Thank you for the 1,000 bits, Professor School. That really means a lot, actually. I want to take the time to tell you how much that means to me.